Hey, it's me. So, in a few videos ago, I had a subscriber ask me if I was going to do a video on homeschooling, and here's your answer. So yeah, I'm going to be doing, this video is going to be about my homeschooling experience and what it was like to never go to class a day in my life. I'm dead serious. So first of all, let me clarify exactly what kind of homeschooling I did, because some people, if you hear homeschooling, some people assume, like, I'm from a family of 20 children and we grew up on a farm and we only wear denim skirts, or some people think it's just a socially awkward person that's a shut-in that only gets the schoolwork that the parents give them. But it's kind of a mixture of two things there. But my type of homeschooling was I was homeschooled through a charter school. So basically that meant I did all of the same work that everyone else is doing, I just did it at home, and I would just get checked up on occasionally by a facilitator, which is basically like my teacher, basically. Never taught me, but she would just look over my work, make sure I was doing what I needed to be done, and that's how they gauged whether I was a good student or not. So first of all, what I always say is true. I never actually went to a school. The only time I ever went was for standardized tests and my college exam, not college exam, like a high school exit exam or whatever. Those are the only times I ever actually went to a school. And the only time I ever actually was in a classroom was for my high school exit exam. That was the weirdest experience of my life, because normally when I would do my homeschooling, I did what I did, and then I was free to go. In a classroom, you have to sit there, and you have to wait for everyone to be done, or until the time limit is up. And that was the weirdest thing to me. Like, it drove me nuts. I was like, I'm done. Why aren't you people done? I'm done. Come on, can't we go now? Kind of thing. So let's start with some of the good stuff from homeschooling. So the good stuff was definitely, I didn't have to get up at like 7 in the morning every morning to get to class. I could get up whenever I wanted, as long as I got my stuff done. I could do my schoolwork wherever I wanted. I would do it on my bed, at the kitchen table, in the living room floor, outside, in a hotel. If we went on vacation, I would bring school with me. But I didn't always have to do that, because with my type of homeschooling at least, you can work ahead. So if I just, doubled up my lessons, I could take my own vacation if I just got it all done. And that was, I'm not gonna lie, that was one of my favorite parts of homeschooling, was the fact that I had control over when and how much schoolwork I did. Obviously now you can't, just drop homeschooling, just not do it. But that's a story for another time. And like I said earlier, when I was done, I was done. If I got up, and if I decided to get up at 7 in the morning and do all my schoolwork before 8, I had the rest of the day to myself. If I decided to go out with friends or something, well, actually I never went out with friends. If I decided to go out and do errands with my parents and then come home and do my schoolwork, I could. Of course, once the end of the day comes, nobody wants to do homework. That's the thing, right? Homework. All of my work was homework, so. And probably the weirdest part, and probably something we weren't supposed to do, was my stuff never really actually got graded. Like, we had some answer keys and stuff that occasionally, I guess, like, my mom would look over, or I guess at the beginning of my high school years would look over and just, like, mark things wrong. Or occasionally my facilitator would, if she saw nothing was graded, she would just go through one of the pages and grade it. So it was kind of nice, because I didn't really have to stress really too much about grades. But that also leads into the bad side of homeschooling. So, starting off with the grading thing, because my stuff didn't always get graded, I didn't know if I was doing good or bad in a subject. I could have learned something completely wrong and been doing it wrong the whole time, and I would never know. That's actually, I only ever failed one class while homeschooling, which is kind of an impressive feat, because I was learning, what was it, geometry or something? Like, trigonometry, some advanced math thing. I had learned something wrong, like, at the beginning of the year, but I had gotten most of the stuff right, so nothing seemed too off. I got answers, that's what mattered. Well, things build. One formula leads into another, and then another, and then another, and soon I had everything wrong, and I could not get my feet back up from under me, because I didn't have a teacher with a math degree or anything to ask for help. I had the internet, and I had my book. And let's be honest, if you just look through the textbook, it doesn't really explain things properly. At least to me. Another downside of homeschooling was the fact that because I didn't really get proper grades, like if I got my work done, it was an A. If I didn't get my work done, it was a B or a C. The only time I ever failed was because I didn't learn properly or something. But because I got good grades, it was assumed that, oh, you're doing good. You can get into a college. You'll be great. You're smart. Not quite. When I finally actually did start taking some college classes, they were online ones because I had crippling social anxiety that I didn't want to go around people. That's a story for a little bit later here. I actually started taking actual classes and come to find out, oh, they expect me to do all of the work and everything has to be done right. Oh, they want to see my notes and prove I didn't actually just look up the answers on the internet? Oops. Hence why I am a working girl now and I don't do college. Yeah. So one thing you hear about homeschoolers a lot is that they all have, you know, they're all super socially awkward and they have no people skills whatsoever. And I'm here to tell you that's kind of true. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of true. Now, me and my sister were both homeschooled. We turned out very differently. She kind of took to going the opposite direction I did. She wanted out. She wanted to go places. She wanted to make friends. She got social. And she wanted to prove she wasn't just a homeschool kid. And so she went out and she proved herself and she became a cool kid and all that jazz. I, on the other hand, thrived in homeschooling, as in I thrived at being home. I just wanted to be home all the time. I didn't really want to meet people because people were scary. I didn't know people. I wasn't forced to be around people. And as growing up as a homeschooler, all I had really was either church people or family. So I was in a very isolated community. Not really like isolated, but just isolated enough that if I saw someone that was not a homeschooler or was a non-church going person, it was like seeing an alien species. I didn't know how to interact. I didn't know how to talk to them. I didn't know if they were gonna dislike me because that's what I had been taught. Like, oh, people are gonna dislike you because you're homeschooled and you're awkward, so don't bother. So that was a really big stunter in my social growth, and it's still, like, I could sit here and blame homeschooling, but I do think a big part of it is the fact that I do have a fair amount of social anxiety. But I mean, let's be honest, who doesn't have social anxiety nowadays? Like, again, not special if you do, it's just a thing. But on the good side of it stunting my ability to approach and speak to the same species as me, or so I thought, it did actually help me to develop my own image and not really be too afraid of what other people thought. Because I didn't go to public school, I wasn't constantly judged for my looks, my behavior, my religion, my homeschooliness. Well, if I went to public school, I wouldn't be judged for that, but you know what I mean. I did not have the pressure of my peers' judgment on me, and I think that really did help a lot with my confidence. Well, when it comes to my looks at least. When it comes to my social interactions, that's another thing. Because if you think about it, honestly, from what I've seen, there's two types of homeschoolers. Those that get out of it and they just kind of blend into society and kind of look like the homeschoolers, you know, the no makeup, jean skirts, you do you. And then you got people like me who are like, you know what, I'm done being isolated, I want to be me, kind of thing. So here I am on the internet in a purple wig and orange lipstick and a choker and big eyeliner. And it helped me find my image and not really be too afraid of what other people think, because I kind of still have that homeschooler mentality of, well, I'm not going to see you again, so what's the matter what you think of me? And to finish up, I will let you know that when I finally did stop homeschooling and went out to try and find a job and actually get into society, it was a culture shock, I'm not going to lie. It was not like I'd never been out in society before, but the only time I really ever went out was to friends' houses or to grocery shop. That was really about it. I'm not saying like, oh, so isolated, but I just didn't get out much. So when I finally had to actually go out into the world and meet people and get a job and actually interact, it was a big big tough step. Honestly, I have been told that now because of that, when I do actually go out into social settings, I have a tendency to come off as very aloof and like acting like I'm better than you, but in reality it's because I'm very quiet. I try to give off an air of confidence like, oh yes, come talk to me, but I'm very quiet. So it looks like I'm just sitting there like, But on a final good note though, one of the things that I am definitely appreciative is that if I hadn't been homeschooled, I would not be the way I am. I would not have some of the same views I do as growing up outside of society, and then being put in it does help me have a very different view on things. And it has helped me to, when I saw something that I didn't like in myself, I didn't have the fear to change it. You know, when I've heard a lot of stories of people who actually went to school and they just got teased for the way they acted, their appearance, and they either forced to just change to match everyone else, or if they tried to change, people would just mock them, and so they just kind of had to blend into the background. And because I was homeschooled and I really didn't get the teasing or the mocking from my peers and all of that, I was able to become myself, and if I saw something I didn't like, I could change it. And I didn't have, 20, 14-year-old kids being like, ew, what are you doing? Stop, And here I am today. So, while homeschooling may not be for everyone, why did you do this, choker? As I was saying, while homeschooling might not be for everyone, a lot of people I've heard do thrive in the public school system, others do not. I definitely would not change a thing, because it helped me become me. And yeah, that's really about it. So if you have any other actual questions for someone who's been homeschooled, anything I didn't touch on that you are still curious about, or anything I mentioned in this video that you would like to know more about, please leave in the comments below, and either I will reply to your comment for sure, or I'll make another video answering your guys' questions about all of that jazz. So, yeah, that's really about it. I will see you guys next Tuesday. Yeah, bye!